Buon pomeriggio a tutte e a tutti, io mi presento molto rapidamente, sono Oriana Mascali e lavoro per l'area lingue, quindi la redazione lingue di Rizzoli Education. Oggi sono qui per moderare questo incontro che, come avrete avuto modo di leggere dall'abstract, affronta un tema molto attuale, ovvero quello dell'utilizzo dei social, i principali social come Instagram e TikTok, in maniera proficua per una didattica coinvolgente in classe. E ci sarà con noi a tenere questa presentazione la professoressa Silvia Chini, che tutti
Buon
conoscete.
pomeriggio, ciao Oriana.
Buon pomeriggio Silvia. Vi do solo qualche informazione tecnica prima di lasciare a lei la parola. Saremo insieme per circa un'ora, nel corso della quale appunto la professoressa Chini terrà il suo incontro, durante il quale voi avrete la possibilità di formulare eventuali domande attraverso la chat di YouTube. Ci ritaglieremo alla fine qualche minuto proprio per cercare di rispondere al maggior numero di domande possibili. Io mi taccio a questo punto, lascio la parola alla professoressa Chini e auguro a voi un buon ascolto.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Le Lingue Live. This afternoon we'll speak about a trend that intrigues and scares a lot of teachers, Silvia Keen included. And today we'll speak about the way social media can play a role, because they can play a role in ESL teaching. And also about BookTok, the BookTok phenomenon, and its impact, I would say, on the reading community and on our students. But first of all, I'd like to know what you do in your lessons, whether you use social media or not. So please use the chat you have to share with us your answers. Do you use any social media in your lessons? And if yes, and if you have the possibility, please share also the name of the one you use. If you use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or please share your answer, even if it's a no, because it's important to understand. So you can use the chat, you can type the answer in your mobile phone. No, okay, we have Mila, thank you. Yes, sometimes. Instagram, okay, thank you. It depends. No, okay. Thank you, Loredana. Thank you, Isabella. I don't. Good. Okay. No, okay. Thank you, Elena, for sharing. No, I don't. Damian as well says no. Not yet. That's a good answer. Not yet. So why not? I use Instagram. Thank you. Rosalba, thank you. No, Pierangela says no. Yes, I use Facebook. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, good. We have, let's say, 80% to say no. No. Hello, Patricia. Thank you. Not comfortable. I 100% understand what you're saying, Paola. Not comfortable with that for now. Good. Instagram sometimes? No. Okay. Well, there's always a first time. There's no denying that ever since social networks and social media made way into our lives, everything is different. Beginning with the way we socialize, interact, plan for parties, choose a restaurant, and last but not least, also the way we teach. The era when social media was used just for entertainment is gone, okay? And oh, thank you even for the last answers. No, Raffaella, sometimes YouTube. Elena, thank you. Okay, very good. I'm not familiar with, says Elisa. Thank you very much. Okay. So internet and social media have now become an integral part of education as well. As you can see here from the pie charts on the slide, in 2023, 41% of teachers in different European high schools, okay, and universities as well, to be honest, reported using social media in their classrooms, okay, for teaching purposes. And 90% of students around the world have reported using social media as an academic or school resource. But I think there's more, okay? If you open YouTube, you've mentioned Instagram, and somebody mentioned Facebook as well. If you open YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you will find channels and accounts for more than 76% of high schools in Europe. So it's crystal clear. I mean, the old saying that goes, if you can't beat your enemies, join them. So it's crystal clear that we need to do something, okay? Because I know that we tend to think that social media can't match our teaching goals. But the truth is that they can help us in some ways. So there's one thing I need to tell you before starting. I'm not taking into consideration social media as a tool to let students interact. I mean, we're in class together, so we'll interact face to face. Okay, so I'm not speaking about that part. We'll speak about other benefits of social media in class, ways we can use social media in our lessons for our teaching purposes and teaching goals. So briefly, we'll speak about the two most popular among students. Instagram, probably the most popular, with TikTok. Okay, my students are 50-50. Instagram, as you know, is a photo and video sharing social networking service, and it allows users to upload, to post media, pictures or videos with short descriptions that can be edited, okay? Oh, thank you. Even often YouTube, sometimes YouTube. Thank you for your answers. And then I mentioned TikTok before. Okay, TikTok was named the leading video-based social media app in 2023 with 1.5 billion active users, which is a lot. We'll briefly mention Facebook as well, even if, to be honest, it's not used by our students anymore. It's still used by teachers, okay? And we'll speak about X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That is one of the largest social media platforms where people can write short sentences or paragraphs. So accounts, Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, Twitter, or whatever, YouTube channels can be used both to teach or to get material. Just to give you an example, there are a lot of teachers around the world with YouTube channels or Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts that give ideas. You have the example I have, because I have this Instagram page with some of my colleagues, and we give ideas for teachers. So we can both use social media for us, okay, to get ideas, to get inspired for our lessons, or for our students, so to get materials to teach and actively use in class. So now, please, for the colleagues who said they use social media in class, my question is now, what do you use social media for? Can you please share your answers once again? Sorry, it's the last time, I promise. You can share your answers in the chat below. So you can use them for simply to watch some videos or podcasts, songs, reading, or whatever. YouTube to get materials. Okay, thank you. Very good. YouTube, a lot of YouTube. Thank you, Rossella. To find material. Thank you, Corrado. To get ideas. That's great. I use Instagram a lot to get ideas. Videos and songs. YouTube videos, songs. Good. Our students always like videos and songs. Media for videos and podcasts. Okay, thank you, Laura, for sharing. And videos as well. Another Laura. To go deeper. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you. To find videos, current events, current affairs. Yes, great. To get materials. Facebook for the social. Okay, very good. Thank you. Video reading material. Oh, a lot of answers. Thank you for sharing. To get inspiration, to make lessons more interesting. YouTube channels I use a lot, of course. Good. To share, to get materials. Okay, great. To get ideas and useful. Good. Watch videos. New vocabulary. Oh, good. Thank you. I didn't count YouTube when I answered. Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Videos and songs. Okay, thank you, everybody. Of course, there are pros and cons when it comes to social media in class. Surely, we still have some answers. Thank you. Vocabulary, that's a good idea to use. Our flipped classroom, that's interesting. Thank you. To make lessons more inspiring. And text analysis, that's interesting. Thank you, Simona. Grammar videos, short documentaries. Okay, ESP, great. And resources. Thank you, Barbara, as well. So I was saying that there are pros and cons when it comes to social media in class. And for sure, the great amount and variety of resources available is a benefit, okay? It's a pro. And students, they can access videos, comments, posts. On the other hand, as we all know, the problem is the quality of these resources. So students are exposed to misinformation, fake news, and a lot of things that have nothing to do with our lessons, to be honest. So this is the reason why activities with social media in class are great, but need to be carefully monitored, okay? Using social media in class is 100% engaging for our students because it's something they like. It's something that belongs to them. But on the other hand, I know it, the risk is that the content is superficial, and for sure, to be honest, and that's not a risk, that's a certainty, the content is fragmented, okay, because it's the core nature of social media. So my question today is, we still have other answers. Grammar videos are super interesting. Thank you, Luca. And also resources, YouTube for videos, and videos with everyday language. That's great. Thank you, Olga. And so my question today is there a way we can reshape our lessons without revolutionizing them? Because of course, I know we have no time. It's super time consuming. So is there a way we can combine, we can try and integrate social media in our lessons in a fruitful way, I mean? I'm giving, a couple of examples to integrate social media in our lessons, keeping the situation under control. Because I know what you're thinking, and believe me, we're on the same page. I 100% agree with you. This is a slippery ground, and the risk of losing control of the class is high. But if we manage to integrate social media and our lessons, okay, our teaching goals in a fruitful way, it will be a success. So the first idea is something project-based, okay? It's a project based on social media. This idea puts together some of the benefits we listed before, some of the benefits of social media, such as you can read there, encouraging creativity, critical thinking, participation, gamification, which is something that our students like a lot. What I was saying, okay, this project puts together the benefits, okay, of social media with the need of keeping our lessons, okay, teaching methods or lesson plans, so not changing them all, okay? So you can use it as you read on the screen for any topic, any level, mainly because social media content covers everything nowadays. You can use the material you already have. You have here some pictures taken from different books, okay? So you can use whatever you want. You can use the unit you're teaching in that moment. Only here and there, okay, when you're teaching, here and there to present vocabulary or to present grammar in context or to present everyday life expressions, everyday life situations, the one you have in that unit, I mean, well, to present these things, use some Instagram posts or TikTok videos. You believe me, you literally can find everything, okay? Just to give you some examples. Are you teaching a unit about art and entertainment? You can find some posts and videos or museum channels, YouTube channels or museum accounts, okay? Or artworks. As you can see here, 90% of museums worldwide have an Instagram or TikTok account where you can find something appropriate for your class. So you can choose a short video on TikTok that presents a special museum in London. I mean, for example, the Imperial War Museum has wonderful content on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Or you can work together with your colleague, with your art history colleague, and you can find some teachers around the world that speak about specific paintings or portraits or whatever. So really, you can find everything, okay? Or Are you dealing with, for example, holiday destinations? You can find some influencers, you can find some YouTube channels, once again, some Instagram accounts, or once again, normal people, okay, all over the world, suggesting places to go, things to do, food to eat, and so on. And well, for every content, for every video or post you present, you will highlight with students, but they're better than us at doing this. You will highlight the common characteristics, okay? Headlines, captions, background, the content, the fact that the videos are short, okay? Once again, as you can see on the other side of the slide, for posts, okay, pictures, once again, you can focus on the picture, you can focus on the content, but you can choose the content you really need for the lesson you are teaching at the moment, okay? And at the end of the unit, you go through the posts and the videos again with your class, and you identify with your students the main characteristics of a successful post or video. Okay, once again, they're better than us at this, for sure. But anyway, you will speak about things like the captions, things about the background, the music, or the way the influencer is presenting a certain place, a certain restaurant, or whatever they are presenting, or the way the content is presented from a certain point of view, a certain perspective. So you will go through the characteristics of a successful post or video once again with them. And you will divide them into small groups, and you will ask them to produce something, to create their own content. It can be a video, an Instagram post, a sentence for Twitter, or a longer, okay, video, let's say 1-2 minutes, not more, for YouTube, okay. First of all, in small groups, they will decide on post or video type, okay, they will decide what to do. They will brainstorm ideas, they will create a first draft, and then will improve then their work, and they will get a final product. You can do that in class, and if you don't have time, you can start in class and you can give this as a homework, okay? You can leave them, you can give them, let's say, a week or maybe 2, because it's quite, time consuming. They need to find time out of the school to meet and to prepare everything. But let's follow them, you follow them throughout the process, okay? Once the students divided into small groups have decided the brainstorming, created the first draft and improved their work, you can finally watch the videos or the posts in class, okay? And you will not only watch the videos, okay, or present the posts, look at the pictures, but you will ask your students to explain the idea behind the video or the post they have created. And if you want, you can add a twist, so you can give each student of the class an icon, a like, or whatever you want, and they will use it for the video or the post they like the most, okay? And as it happens, every single day on real Instagram accounts and YouTube, whatever, the video or the post with more likes wins, okay? Wins something you choose, you can bring some candies or whatever. I find this a good way to reasonably integrate social media into our lessons without dismantling, let's say, all what we have or what we do or we have to do, and without losing the control of the class, okay? You will show them videos and posts in class, you will use your whiteboard, they will use their mobile phones to watch what you give them, they will use their mobile phones to create the final product, let's say, the post or the video. So I find this, I've tested it with some of my classes, and I find this a good way to integrate the needs we have with social media and the needs students have to use social media. Well, TikTok, probably the most popular social media. As I said before, my students are 50% for Instagram and 50% on TikTok. So probably TikTok is the most popular social media among students. Can be used to teach vocabulary as well. As you all perfectly know, there are two ways we have to learn vocabulary: intentional, incidental. So on the one hand, we have teaching vocabulary with a purpose to do so. On the other hand, we have learning process that takes place without the intention to do so. So when we learn some new words without the intention to do so. So TikTok is a great social media we can use to teach vocabulary. There are so many profiles. If you type ESL teaching, vocabulary teaching, type whatever you want, you will find so many profiles, so many accounts you could use. I've chosen this one for two reasons. The first one is that Davide focuses on some language skills that could be easily selected for the most common lesson plans we already have, okay? There are some grammar topics we always cover, especially with the lower classes in prima and seconda, first and second years. Second, this profile, this channel, because he has a YouTube channel, he has a website, he has some podcasts and whatever, he has everything. So this profile is specifically addressed to Italian people. So that is also, well, suitable, let's say. It's great for really weak students or students with special needs, because very often we have a reference to Italian language, explicit reference. So this can be a great help for our students. So we can easily integrate his videos into our lessons. As I said before, he has an Instagram profile, TikTok, podcasts, a website, even some books. So you can choose whatever you want. You can choose the social media you prefer. You can choose really any topic, any level, once again. So how integrate his videos with our lessons? Well, you can use some of his videos to introduce a topic, to introduce some vocabulary. You can give some homework based on his posts, okay? Oh, something I forgot to tell you that you can see here. You can create evaluation rubrics or even work exercises starting from TikTok and Instagram videos or even YouTube videos using Magic School AI. Magic School AI, you can see the logo there. Magic School AI is a wonderful tool we have. It's AI for teachers, okay? It's free. You can use most of the pages for free, okay? And it's great because if you copy and paste the link of a YouTube video, an Instagram video, or a TikTok video, whatever, you can create activities starting from that video. You can create multiple choice activities, exercises, choosing whether you want 3 or 5 questions, 3 or 5 options, or open questions. You can create, as I said before, evaluation rubrics, great for every single task you give your students. Having evaluation rubrics is 100% useful in my opinion. You can create activities starting from basically everything you want. Thank you, Olga, you mentioned Twee, it's the same. Yes, there are different there are different platforms you can use, but Magic School AI is the one I like the most, to be honest. So you can give homework based on his posts. You can give project-based, once again, you can give some projects to your students based on some of his videos. You can ask your students to create similar videos, okay? If you want to revise a specific grammar topic you've covered, you can use this strategy to engage them a little bit more. Speaking about TikTok, because we said that Davide Patron has a TikTok profile, we cannot forget the new, let's say, phenomenon of BookTok. What is BookTok? BookTok is an hashtag used for TikTok videos related to books. Of course, there's not only one hashtag, but as you can see here in the slide, there are several hashtags. Okay, BookToks for our students, so YA books, BookToks for fiction, for theater plays, for horror novels or whatever. You have an hashtag for basically everything. A bit of history of BookToks. In August 2020, basically in the middle of the pandemics, a 16-year-old girl, she was named Kate Wilson, okay, posted on TikTok a series of quotes from books she liked. From that moment on, probably also because teenagers were locked in their homes, BookTok has become a viral trend with more than 20 billion views and counting. So it may seem a bit superficial at first, a superficial way to talk about books, but the truth is that a lot of teenagers like book talks and they started reading because of these book talks. So my other question today is, why not use book talks in class? There are a lot of ways we can use book talks, but there's one thing that we need to take into consideration. What I find exciting is not only the influence BookTok is having on teenagers, okay, but also the fact that this is a perfect example of multimodal classroom, okay, and composition. So there's no time here to speak about this, but if you missed the opportunity, you could watch the webinar on multimodal classroom in which my colleague Cristina Prandi explains and unveils the secrets of the multimodal classroom and composition. So BookTok is a great example for this, and you can really benefit from the BookToks in class. These are the reasons, some of the reasons, okay, that pushed us to start the project called Silvia's Bookshelf, okay. Every month, we'll choose a book that is related to a specific event, a national celebration, an anniversary, or something else happening that month that can be used in class, okay. You could find the videos, okay, on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever. But along with the videos, you can find some files in the Tab box. So if you open the Rizzoli Education website and then you choose Tab box, you will find this page that is called Silvia's Bookshelf with one video per month. It should be a book talk, but for teachers, okay? And some files with ideas for 4 other novels related to some important, as I said before, anniversaries or celebrations of that month. Every file, both the videos and the PDFs, okay, every file contains a short summary of the book, the level required to understand the book, the main topics covered, and some links to other subjects, but also some ideas of class activities related to the book. So, as I said before, it's a great tool for teachers. It's a sort of bookshelf for teachers. These are all contemporary novels, okay, that can be linked to something that we generally teach in class, not just in our literature lessons, but also in our language lessons, okay. This is just an example, something you can already find online in the Tab box. So you can see you have Stargirl, which is a novel by Jerry Spinelli. You probably know it. B1, B2 level, as you can see, you always see the level. Then you have a short summary of the book. Then in the white box, as you can see, you have the themes covered. So if you're speaking with your class about identity, you know that in that book you will find some references on the topic, or school life or whatever. And we'll try every single month to put books for various levels, okay, different levels. So you will always have something for B1, something for B2, C1, and sometimes even for A1, A2. So for example, the second example you have here, it's a graphic novel, okay, they called us Enemy. Level is A2 level. Once again, you have a summary, a brief summary of the story, and then you have the related topics. So identity, resilience, fear, courage, and Second World War. Because I think that's a good way, once again, to integrate language teaching and literature, contemporary literature, in especially. So the question was, sorry, I said so many things. I've said so many things so far. So the question was, how could we integrate these book talks into our lessons? So there are a lot of things we can do with BookToks. We will speak about some of them. We can use BookToks to recommend books to our students, okay? Or to start, sorry, there's a typo, to start literature lessons, okay? So when we present, when we introduce a great topic in literature, or even a great novel, 1984 by Orwell, why not looking for a BookTok online? Just to engage our students a bit more. If you're not familiar with BookToks, you can simply find a BookTok, you can play it, you can watch it using your whiteboard, and you can use it to start your discussion, your lesson on that specific novel. Or you can use BookToks to recommend books to your students if you want them to read something instead of introducing and speaking for 20 minutes about the book, what the book is about, and so on. You can play a BookTok, and I guarantee you they will be more engaged, okay? Or we can replace BookToks with BookToks. So we all use BookToks in our literature lessons, okay? We read a book all together. We have debates and discussions, but instead of having these long BookToks, why not ask our students to create a BookTok? So this is just an example. You can use BookToks really for everything, okay? And you can use them for what you need. This is an example based on my experience, okay? These are some of the lists I use for my students. And for example, they can choose one book from the list, they read it. Of course, in class we covered the topic or the historical period. And then before planning the BookTok, I asked them to create a BookTok. So they have 1 minute maximum to speak about the book, to create an effective BookTok. So they will present the book, shortly present the book, they will give a brief summary, and they will speak about one, maximum two, the two most important things, the things that interested them the most, that they liked the most, or they disliked the most, okay? So this is a good way even to integrate social media into our literature lessons. Or there's another one. You can use BookToks to let your students choose, okay? On Instagram and even TikTok, sorry, there are a lot of collections, okay, of books that make you cry, books for sports fans, books with good energy, romantic books, historical fictions. You can find really anything, okay? So you can ask them to choose one book from a specific list. You can also create the list. You can also create the playlist of BookToks you want them to use. And you can ask them to choose a book. Or if you are speaking about, if you're considering a special novel in class, let's say Wuthering Heights or whatever, you can ask them to find a BookTok about a book that is somehow related to the one you're covering in class. So for example, you're covering Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, ask them to find and bring to class, okay, to find a link, copy and paste the link onto Teams or the platform you're using. Ask them to find a BookTok on a book that is not Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, of course, but is somehow related to the book you're covering in class. For different reasons, you can choose the reason. You can ask them to find a book that is related because it has the same topic, it covers the same themes, or because it's set in the same period, or because it was written in the same period. So you choose, but you let them interact with TikTok in a fruitful way, not just watching videos and videos for ages, probably not even so intelligent videos, but you're helping them using TikTok in a fruitful way, and you can benefit from that in class. There's another thing I generally use BookToks for when I cover when I deal with Shakespeare in class, and we all know that Shakespeare covers topics and themes that are universal. Okay, friendship, love, power and ambition, revenge, everything. So we generally read Shakespeare in class, and I ask them to find BookToks related to the same topics, to the same events okay, a forbidden love, or a wife who wants, I'm speaking about Macbeth, okay, a wife who is the driving force of the play or the book, the novel, and wants to get a power, or something related to the historical period. So this is a good way to let them interact with Shakespeare, because sometimes it's difficult for them to understand Shakespeare and to understand that Shakespeare is super important even nowadays, because he speaks about themes that are, as I said before, universal themes. There's another way we can integrate book talks into our lessons. There's an hashtag for author interviews. So when we read something, sometimes it's difficult for our students to understand what the author had in mind, okay, what the author wanted to explain or to convey the message. So sometimes it's short, because they are super short videos. Super short interviews with authors are useful to let students understand what the content is, what the message behind the book is. Or another way we can use book talks in class is to compare and contrast books. So we can ask them to find different book talks on the same book. So for example, we're covering Swift in class. We can ask them to find different book talks on his novels. Or we're covering, for example, we're dealing with George Orwell. We can ask them to find different, there are a lot of book talks about 1984. We can ask them to find some book talks on 1984. And we will watch the book talks in class, and we'll try and understand, we'll try and compare and contrast the book talks, okay? And try and understand what's the core message of the novel and what's true and what's not. Because this is a good way to help them understand that not every single word they listen to, they hear, okay, is true, is correct, 100% reliable. So at the very beginning, we were speaking about misinformation, fake news. So it's another way, let's say, to engage them in this way. Last but not least, after covering a certain period in literature or history, we can ask them to create a sort of a playlist with book talks on the books, with novels or plays, whatever, or poems we've covered in class. If they upload their book talks, their videos on the platform we use at school, they will be a good starting point for revision before a test, or I'm thinking about my fifth-year students before the esame di maturità at the end of the year. We've not taken into consideration YouTube, because as we all know, YouTube is a great source of information. There are channels for everything, basically. And as I told you, it's easy to create activities based on the videos using whatever you want. For example, Magic School AI. There's another thing I would like to tell you. We could also use Twitter. It's a bit more difficult because our students are not used to Twitter. But it's a good way to deal with current affairs. So Twitter is perfect to, as a starting point, as I said before, as a starting point for current affairs. For example, presidential elections in the United States. It was the last, most recent topic we've covered. We started from Twitter because they're not used to Twitter. So it happened to me once, but it's a bit more difficult to let them interact and use Twitter for literature and language. But it's a great source of information for current affairs. So if you follow the profiles of the main newspapers, magazines, or TV channels, it's always a good starting point for current affairs, and also the Agenda 2030. So the global goals. So it's an endless world of possibilities, okay? I know it's a slippery ground, but sometimes, sometimes it pays off. I would say 90% of the times pays off. I hope it was useful for you. It's all for now, and I really hope you have some questions for me so that we can share and we can give further comments on the way you can use social media in class. There's a question, I read it. Barbara, thank you. Is BookTok free? Yes, it is. So if you have a TikTok account, if you don't have a TikTok account, you can also type on Google, you can also Google BookTok, and you will find a lot of videos online, okay? And if you have an Instagram account, you will also find some BookToks, okay? BookToks are basically short videos related to literature in general, related to fiction, non-fiction, plays, so you can find them everywhere. In some cases, there are also YouTube channels with BookToks. Okay, there's another one. Where can I find the interviews to the authors? Okay, there's an hashtag, BookTok authors, and you will find some interviews. But once again, if you type BookTok author interviews, you will find a lot of videos. You really can find anything on social media. I know sometimes the content is superficial, but if you spend some time researching, okay, you will find the perfect post or the perfect video for your class and for your students.
Grazie Silvia, sono arrivati tantissimi complimenti in chat durante la tua esposizione, continuano ad arrivare domande, credo, se sì, ok. Qualcuno si interroga, diciamo, sul nome di quello che noi conosciamo come Twitter.
Che adesso si chiama X, sì.
Esatto.
Infatti l'ho chiamato un po' in tutti e due i modi, perché nella mia testa è ancora Twitter, però assolutamente sì.
È una questione
leggermente più difficile da utilizzare in classe, però si può fare, ecco. Però se dobbiamo partire da zero, io consiglio anche solo per l'interesse dei ragazzi di partire da Instagram e da TikTok.
Esatto. Grazie, mi sembra appunto qui scorrendo la chat che più o meno ci siamo. Ne approfitto invece per un'altra domanda. All'inizio di questo intervento hai parlato di Lit Box. Come un contenitore sostanzialmente appunto in cui si possono trovare tante risorse extra. In che modo queste risorse possono essere sfruttate durante la pratica in classe, quindi possono essere utili a colleghi e colleghe, sia quelli che ci stanno seguendo, ma anche appunto al di fuori della nostra community, diciamo?
Allora, credo molto nel progetto di Lit Box, perché tutti noi sappiamo quanto sia importante la formazione continua, soprattutto per chi come noi sta in classe 6 ore al giorno, quindi però sono altrettanto fermamente convinta del fatto che la nostra vita a scuola a volte ci impedisca di continuare a formarci, cercare corsi, eccetera, eccetera. Quindi l'idea che sta dietro il Lit Box è dare proprio ai docenti un posto, una casa dove trovare materiale da usare su due fronti. Materiale già pronto da usare in classe, come ad esempio quelle attività che vi ho fatto vedere quando parlavamo del Silvia's Bookshelf, quindi se a uno interessa approfondire quell'argomento oppure sta facendo quel libro, può scaricare banalmente il file, fotocopiarlo o proiettarlo e utilizzarlo in classe. È una cosa proprio già pronta. Sull'altro versante è molto utile, secondo me, per la nostra formazione continua, nel senso che molto spesso ci capita di non avere tempo e di voler approfondire alcune nuove metodologie, nuove mode dell'insegnamento, nuovi trend, così. Quindi nel box si possono trovare articoli proprio lato insegnante da poter leggere e poi rimaneggiare e utilizzare in classe. Quindi ci sono sia attività ready made, già proprio pronte da poter usare in classe, sia articoli o materiale di altra natura per il lato docente, quindi per la formazione del docente, ma c'è anche una terza tipologia che è quella che ho fatto vedere prima, sono appunto queste schede, che in questo caso sono schede libro perché sono abbinate al bookshelf, quindi parliamo sempre di romanzi, l'ho detto anche prima, super contemporanei, non troverete nulla che è stampato nelle antologie, ma lo facciamo apposta perché la letteratura ci parla ancora oggi e quindi è giusto, è bello che i nostri ragazzi vedano che le cose che ha detto Shakespeare così tanto tempo fa sono assolutamente ancora attuali. Poi faccio sempre l'esempio di Shakespeare, ma l'esempio si potrebbe fare con chiunque. E quindi ci sono queste schede libro che si possono utilizzare così per avere un'idea, anche solo so di avere una classe livello B1, allora vado a cercarmi le schede del livello B1 e vedo che cosa posso proporgli. Ah, il materiale, scusate, scusa Oriana, ti ho interrotto, il materiale è sempre aggiornato, cioè cerchiamo di mettere, di caricare materiale sempre aggiornato per appunto eventi, accadimenti dell'attualità, nuove pratiche nella didattica della lingua inglese, cioè cerchiamo di far sì che questo box sia sempre comunque aggiornato.
Sì, mi viene in mente per esempio un'occasione, possono essere le cosiddette giornate, no? La giornata della terra, la giornata della salute. Ecco, quello effettivamente è un modo per affrontare veramente temi molto attuali in classe, avendo già delle risorse a disposizione, quindi veramente diciamo un bel hub da considerare appunto per risorse extra. E mentre rispondevi diciamo, a questa mia domanda è arrivata un'altra domanda di natura più tecnica sulla condivisione dei video da TikTok. Do I just have to open my profile from the browser? Ci chiede la professoressa Barbieri, che forse appunto riscontra delle difficoltà nella condivisione in classe. Non so se...
Allora, si può assolutamente usare TikTok come utenti passivi, ecco. Ci sono tantissimi, mi viene da dire la maggior parte dei video di TikTok che sono reperibili anche su Instagram, quindi se avete un account Instagram poi si può comunque accedere ai contenuti. Comunque sì, se avete un account di TikTok basta semplicemente proiettare quello che si vede oppure prendersi copiare il link, condividere il link, mi viene in mente se usate Google Classroom o se usate qualsiasi cosa, condividere il link sulla piattaforma con gli studenti e loro poi cliccando potranno comunque accedere. Se avete un account Instagram o TikTok sicuramente la cosa è più agevole anche per il lato proprio docente perché la ricerca è più agevole, però si può fare anche senza, ecco. Viene un po' più complesso, time consuming, però diciamo che si può fare.
Grazie, anche da supporto tecnico, professoressa Chini, qui utilissimo. Invece la professoressa
tecnico
Chiosi,
base.
vabbè, però utilissimo comunque. La professoressa Chiosi chiedeva il nome della sezione Rizzoli online in cui troviamo il materiale utile è Tab Box, come appunto diciamo il titolo dell'opera della letteratura inglese, l'E-Tab, quindi c'è agganciata, diciamo così, una pagina dedicata all'opera che abbiamo chiamato appunto l'E-Tab Box. E all'interno trovate tutti i materiali che citava prima la professoressa Chini e molti altri perché appunto sono in continuo aggiornamento. Credo che le domande siano finite, esatto, grazie a voi tutti per la partecipazione molto attiva che è sempre apprezzata sia da Silvia che da noi appunto della redazione e vi ringraziamo anzi per la partecipazione a questo evento e seguite ovviamente le lingue live per i prossimi appuntamenti che coinvolgeranno anche la nostra Silvia Chini e quindi appunto avete tante altre opportunità di formazione.
Grazie a tutti.
Grazie ancora a tutti, buon proseguimento, a presto.
Arrivederci.